Are you ready for year 2 of Galaxycon? Testing out another new display setup. Not completely, but I had to figure out a way to change it so my charms aren't sitting down at an angle anymore. They're gonna be up here. The new phone charms are gonna go here. You can tell I don't have them set up yet. What else do we have? Oh, the stickers. So I'm gonna, since I have 3 boards and it's an odd number, I plan on putting the most popular stickers, which tends to be Ace Attorney. People will stop by and be like, whoa! Put those right there, that way people can see them, and then still have these 2 right here, and then these are going to be the sticker containers. Should fit nicely. The rest of it I'm not going to bother because it should just be the same as it always is. But yeah, at least I got this part figured out. This was the part I was really worried about. Okay, so we're back from our long weekend at Galaxycon Columbus, and we're going to talk about it. There's not a lot to talk about, to be honest, because it was a lot like last year. If you remember anything about last year, you remember that my main gripes about Galaxycon Columbus was that it was too oversaturated with vendors and artists. And, you know, a lot of people were spending their money on the celebrity guests, which is fine. They can spend it how they want. But when you combine that with the oversaturation of how many vendors and artists there are, it's just kind of a recipe for disaster. Those were kind of my only two main gripes. The convention hall is still a great convention hall. Columbus, Ohio, the area immediately around it is still a fine area. It's a good city. And then, of course, there's the travel. For me, was very long, and I know my video of last year, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do it again, but I was in the mindset this year when I applied back in May or March, May, either way, that, oh, I'll apply to like a bunch of different things in December, and then like I'll just pick that over GalaxyCon, and then I didn't get into any of those, so I was like, I guess GalaxyCon will be my fallback. So yes, that's kind of was my mindset going into it. I also did Anime Magic again this year and doubled at that one. So I kind of was on a little bit of a hopium in that I thought I should double at GalaxyCon. I guess that was just the small little like, I don't know, that was the progression I was seeing as I've, you know, continued to vend. So I was hoping to do that as well. And spoiler alert, we didn't. We did exactly the same. It's honestly mind-boggling how similar this year was compared to last year, except for a couple unfortunate circumstances. So this convention takes 8 hours, right? We left like Thursday at 3 and then got there way late or early in the morning. We set up Friday morning, but we got there at like 2 a.m. I think, because of the hour change and then like, you know, having to stop and whatnot. But yeah, so one thing I did make sure to do this year compared to last year was get a cheaper hotel that was kind of like a little bit out of the main center area of the city. And that helped a lot because last year my like price for the hotel by itself was like $4 something, and it just took a large chunk out of whatever profit I was going to make. So this year I think I kept it down to $270, and it was still another red roof. Hey, let's go red roof. It was still another red roof, so like that was fine. But it works out because when you have a car, you know, I can take these hotels that are cheaper, that are a little bit 10, 20, however many minutes out from like the main part of the city, and it's really helpful. The downside is that we did have to pay for parking compared to if we stayed at a hotel immediately right beside the convention hall and then just like walked every day, which is what we did last year. And I also know that not everybody has that ability. Like for the people who fly in, they have to get an Uber, and I don't know how you I really don't know how you transport, to be honest, because I haven't flown anywhere, so I cannot imagine the amount of stress and like extra money that costs. I do think there was maybe one artist or a couple artists I talked to that did fly in for this con, which really sucks. Really sucks. But yeah, so same situation. There was over, I believe, 200 artists. They had celebrity guests. They had celebrity or like premium artists, like comic book artists and special things like that. They had, I think, like 400 vendors. I don't really even know the exact number, but it was a lot. And then they also raised the table price this year. And I'll get into the nitty and gritty of numbers when we get to our number talk. But yeah, so everything was just bigger, and while I thought the attendance would have grown as well, and maybe it did, because I remember Saturday when we got in, I recall seeing a long line of people still like having to register, and that lasted till like 11, like we got there at 10 or 9:30. We got there at 10, and then people didn't really fully get in by like 1, maybe 2. Maybe 1 or 2, something like that. Like it took a long time, it felt like, for that line outside for people registering to get inside. So I know there was people, but I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. And I'm not gonna, try to scratch my brain about it because it's just one of the situations that this con had last year, and it looks like they had this year, and I feel like they're going to continue to have. But regardless, it's still a good time. Like I said, the city's nice. I met up with a couple of my art friends. I made new art friends. Hi, new art friends. Enjoyed vending as I normally do, and was able to show off my new phone charms. Was very excited. I got those in like a week, I think, before the convention came, and so like that was fun. But yeah, our table spot wasn't anything crazy. It was just kind of in the middle. The artist alley wasn't anywhere crazy. It was just kind of in the middle. Or like towards the gaming thing. That was one problem I know a couple people talked about, was that they felt like there wasn't enough distinction between here's the vendors, and now the vendors are stopping, and then here's the artists, and then now the artists are stopping, and here's the next thing. Like, it was all just kind of meshed together. And even Eric was telling me how, like, just walking around, he felt so overwhelmed from like how many choices and how many people selling things, right? Like, you could go somewhere and find a booth, and normally you'd be like, oh, well, I'll just remember where this is, and if I decide to get it later, I'll come back and get it. And I felt like it was so hard to remember where anything was. I had people at least 2 or 3 times coming up to my booth asking me like, oh, what row is this? So I don't know if they needed better signage or what it was, but they needed something, because even I myself was like, okay, if I'm in J and I look over, what is that H? It was pretty bad. So yeah, there's not really a lot to get into. I hate to say it, it is how it is. The convention was like fine, but that's all it was. It was just kind of fine. I think wholeheartedly say now though that I probably won't go back unless I'm just close. I would only recommend this to someone like 4 hours away and who already has an established like average of income sales that they're getting at conventions, if that makes any sense. Like, I've noticed the past couple of conventions that we've done, my average of sales has been somewhere between 1,600 to like 1,200 maybe, which is very sweet and mind-boggling, and I still can't fathom how I even make that much. But it's important, to know that you have that average, so you have that confidence of knowing like, okay, well, I normally make X amount, so I should at least be able to make X amount as long as I keep my breaking even points and hotels and whatever I can control like lower, if that makes any sense. But we'll talk about money real quick, because money is at the end of the day still very important. So the table for this year, and I made the bad mistake last year Sunday, and they did it this year Sunday too. They sent out an email and they're like, hey, for any artists, if you want to book your booth for next year right now, you can book it for this price, but we'll be raising it. And I was at the time, no, I wasn't really sure. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And you're like, oh, I'll wait, we'll see. I probably should have done it because they raised it to like $407. It's too much. It's too much money for this kind of convention that's not bringing in enough sales for individual people because there's so many people. Anyways, table 407. The hotel, like I said, was $270. We ballparked gas to be about $100, give or take. Give me some wiggle room there, but gas was about $100. We did have to pay for parking, so that was $75 because it was $25 a day. $75 for that, and then that right here just gives my break even to be like $852, which is pretty high. I'm still pretty sure that, let me see. Yeah, I just double checked and looked at my past conventions. I've only been doing this for like a year and some change, but still, Galaxycon Columbus is like my highest break-even point by far, with $852 that I'd have to make back just to like make it worth going out there. So yes, high number, very high number. We did thankfully make about $1,616 in sale, which is actually, I think, like $50 or so less than last year. Really weird. I'm telling you guys, like, I was looking at the sheets. I'm like, not Monday. Friday, we made about the same in the day. Saturday, we made exactly the same amount. Sunday, we made a little bit more. It was just really funky, like how similar it was compared to last year. I don't know what it was, but it was weird. 1,616. I put all of the things that we sold over the weekend into my lovely little Google sheet so I can calculate what my cost of merchandise was, and our cost of merchandise for this convention was $292.27. But if we do math, our net profit is $496. We love net profiting. I'm very grateful for that amount because I know a lot of us were struggling, man. A lot of us were struggling at this convention. And so anything, even if it's just a little bit over the break even, makes me feel a little bit better. It also gave me a chance to kind of see what people thought of the phone charms. I had a couple people that didn't really know, like, oh, how do you use phone charms? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just hook it on the bottom of mine. That's what I do. You don't have to put it on your phone. I just do that so it differentiates from my bigger charms, because I felt like that'd be too confusing. But so like that, there was, like I said, meeting a lot of my art friends and making new ones and meeting new people and growing your social media and making those new connections. That's always really important, really, really important. But also you can do that not anywhere, but somewhere where hopefully wouldn't put you in the bucket if this was like your first convention or anything. Yeah, so I don't know. If I have to say it was good, I'd say it'd be meh. Is that an option? Is meh an option? I would only recommend this convention for people who are like 4 hours out of the city or local and know their average amount and can not guarantee, but at least be like, well, in the past I've made X, so I should at least make this amount. Even if it doesn't always work that way, because so many outside contributing factors of where you're placed and how many people are there and flipping, I don't know, the sun and the moon's orbit. But yeah, so I never want to say it's a bust, because in my heart, I'm like, well, as long as I make good memories and financial, I don't know, smartness, where at least I'm not in the red when I leave, I feel good about it, right? I gotta be honest with y'all, like, that's just how I feel. But yeah, and I was able to make another video for you guys following a whole year. Wow, I can't believe it's been a whole year. Wow, I'm so surprised. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know how they're going to be in the future. I don't know if it's going to get better, if it's going to get worse. I am definitely not going to do one unless somehow we end up moving a little bit closer to that area, which we might. It won't be for like another 3 years because we're about to be stationed in Germany, but we'll keep an eye out. I've got friends that might go next year that I'll be nosy and be like, hey, how's it going over there? Give me the details. I want to know the tea. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I don't have much else to say. I'm still not good at closing, so I'm just gonna kind of like wave and then wish y'all the best rest of your days that I can. Oh, I'm pushing this video out quicker because since Galaxycon just happened, I figured that's probably the smart thing to do. And then I technically have like at least 2 or 3 vlogs from like other cons I've done over the summer or like in the fall season that I technically do have content and recordings for, but haven't fully finished editing or anything, because, you know, listen, things happen. I'll get better. I promise. I'll get better at this. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. But thank y'all again. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.